You suck.
Oh my God.
You suck. I'm trying.
Adam.
Chris,
Jerry.
this is
I'm trying.
what my case looks like on camera.
It's a little blurry. Back it up.
Oh, I forgot to change the title.
Oh
There
no.
we go.
Hello?
All right. We're merging.
Are we all here?
I'm here.
I think we're all here.
Okay.
I forgot to change the title of the thing.
Oh, my damn screen's too bright. That's the problem.
Oh God, help me.
There we go.
I Pikachu and you Pikachu. Pikachu.
It's law and cortisone.
I'm more of this face.
I forgot to change the title of the podcast.
This face was to Josh singing his Pokemon song.
Pikachu.
Oh, Crispy.
Wow.
Did you look at the thing about Zoro's lineage?
I peeked at it. I didn't like the thing is like I saw stuff in it that like let me go back to it. Like I've been being hinted to thanks to all my review people that I watch like that talk about it, but not really.
So basically, this was huge. Oda also confirms he's not going to work his lineage into the story, even though technically he did.
Dumb.
He technically
we got
did
Sanji,
it, but we didn't realize it.
We Sanji'd up the fucking shitload, but not
Yeah,
Zoro.
but see, we'll talk about this after the podcast.
Oh my God, I have
think
to dig through all the
we are
bullshit
live.
we did for
live.
an hour.
All right, 3,
Oh shit, we're
2,
live. Crispy,
1.
we're live.
I know.
Welcome to Batyards Finest. Bring you the finest of Batman and Superman and anything else we want to talk about in pop culture. From Metropolis, I am Josh, and we'll go in order.
Your Green Lantern from Oa, I'm Jerry. I'm the guy in the kaiju shirt.
Thanks. I'm Matt from Gotham. How you guys doing?
Hi. So, from what I know, we don't have too much news. I know Jerry has something. Do you want to go first, Jerry, or you want me to say my little thing?
I'll go first if you guys want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, literally, like, as we were setting up, I'm like, I don't have any news. So I just went in, I typed in comic book news. You know the first thing that popped up? Freddy is fighting the DC universe now, and he's starting with Superman.
Freddy?
Oh, what?
Freddy
Krueger?
Yeah.
Krueger?
Freddy Krueger.
Okay.
I'm like, they're starting with Superman, so this is going to be really interesting to see.
Yo, Freddy's going to win.
I don't know.
If Freddy controls the dream world, he literally can find, if he finds out for Superman's weakness and goes into Superman's head when he's sleeping, he literally can make his claws into kryptonite and fucking stab that bitch right in the chest.
I guess. I mean, would
it's going to
kryptonite
be
affect
interesting,
him
though.
in his dream, though?
But
I would assume so. Because
it's his worst spear that he used to kill him with. So it has to be something with Lois Lane.
Lois
I also
Lane.
have one other small bit of news.
Okay.
Alien and Predator made it onto Marvel's 20th year anniversary cover-up photo, and it looked pretty nice.
Huh. Okay.
Alien?
Versus
Alien and Predator.
I didn't think
not Alien versus Predator.
Marvel.
Yeah, they own both of them.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's been like how many? I think there's been like 10, maybe 10, 15 years they picked it up, I think.
It's something like
that. But they don't own the
movie
franchise, right?
No.
No, I think they just strictly own like stuff to do with the comics.
Mm-hmm. They own the rights to comics.
That's really weird.
So
who owns Alien?
Oh, fuck.
Marvel does too.
No, he means. I think he's trying to ask about movies. Are you trying to ask about
the movie?
Oh, I guess they do own it because it's 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, well then they do.
Oh yeah, so they do own the movies too.
I was trying to go back. I didn't think Alien was Fox. I know freaking Predator was Fox. But I didn't think Alien was. I thought Alien was a different movie studio. That they just said, "Fuck it, let's collide them together."
No, I remember seeing the 20th Century Fox like before the movie.
Okay.
At least the first one. That's weird. Okay.
It's
So
gonna be interesting.
the one little thing I have that I guess this actually was just announced today. In May of this year, Superman the Max Fleischer serial is going to be released on Blu-ray, so you'll be able to own it and watch it on Blu-ray, which is interesting. I mean,
It's already high def.
it's free. You already could see them for free, but I guess you won't have like the watermarks of like other cartoon whatever people putting their watermarks on the episode.
But like
That's literally it.
But like it's already feels like it's like already in like HD because they did it so well. I'm not even gonna lie. It's from that time period. It's just like it should have aged well. It didn't fall apart. That's like the best
No, it
thing
aged
about it.
exceedingly well. Like this is like something you want to watch in HD.
They're gonna do and like go to Blu-ray. It's gonna go to 4K. Now it's gonna even look even crazier.
Yeah,
if they do it right.
curious.
And they do the conversion right.
Yeah,
like I said,
I'm kind of curious what if it's going to be 4K or not. But I don't know. I might buy it just to say I own it. I think it would be like worth to have in my collection.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to state that. And the weird thing is, so the Max Fleischer Superman is public domain, but Warner Brothers owns the original prints, which is so like it's like a weird loophole. So they could sell they have like the original scan, so that's why they could have the HD versions basically. So since they have the original film print, they are basically able to re-release the HD version of the shorts.
So wait, who's releasing this then?
I think it's Warner Brothers.
Okay. So I was gonna say,
Josh,
like,
you
Warner
also
Brothers...
made me remember something. I have more news.
Okay.
The thing is, I can wait because this is interesting. So, what are they gonna do now? Like, are they just gonna hold these prints, or are they gonna auction them off?
No, they're definitely holding them like indefinitely. Like they're holding them like so they could have like the I guess like the top of the line like original prints, because like every copy you see that's not released by Warner Brothers is like a scan that they get from some other media source. So like they have the original prints, so that's why they could release like a Blu-ray and like an HD and stuff. Very weird.
It's kind of weird that like they're like because right now they're not...
weird. It's like the Max Fleischer Superman's in a weird loophole because I think the Superman S is still trademarked. I think you could like distribute the shorts, like you could sell them, I guess, as like a Joe Schmo, or you could just watch them public domain. But I think they trademarked like the Superman logo and like the merchandise stuff that comes with it. So the only stuff you can kind of get away with is distributing the actual shorts itself, and not like make a Superman shirt with that logo and sell it like online, if that makes sense. It's very weird.
No,
public domain's a very weird loophole.
I'm just thinking with the WB stuff, because right now like WB is taking both the two major giant companies we have out there, WB and Disney, are both taking fucking hits. But like WB is like trying to bring themselves back, even though DC shit like comics are doing pretty, like what I've been hearing, they've been not doing so well, like a lot of comics. So I can see them trying to grasp at straws to bring back people with older stuff. So
yeah, but I think they're only doing it, like you said, to get out of some of this crap that they're in. Because that's usually a business play they start doing.
Probably. I mean, I own the Blu-rays of the original Superman the movie, like the series, like the Christopher Reeve series, and they actually have I think it's Superman 2 for a bonus feature. They have these shorts as a bonus feature, so it's like I guess I do already own it, so maybe I don't need to buy it.
Wait,
but
how many?
But mentioning Superman the movie, they are re-releasing a box set of Superman, that the Christopher Reeve Superman in 4K. So
Yeah, they're trying to get out of a hole. They're trying to get out of a hole for Superman right now.
That's another piece of news.
I also have public domain news that I can't remember if I shared last time.
Go for it.
Crispy, I told you about it. So you guys know the copyright for Mickey Mouse is about to expire. So Disney's already changed their mascot, and Mickey Mouse is going to be public domain, I believe, next year, actually.
I think it's like Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse is public domain.
Yeah, well, yeah, right now, right now.
But yeah,
now
isn't like the whole character is public domain?
No,
I didn't look too much into it, but I think it's going to eventually turn into the whole character. Because I know Steamboat is going to be first. It is first, and then you got the everything else to follow after Steamboat. I meant to say it last time, but I probably forgot. Everybody, please forgive me. I told Matt. I called him on the phone. I'm like, dude, Mickey Mouse is about to be public domain. We can use him as the new mascot for Batyards.
I don't want.
And Disney can't legally sue us anymore.
Oh god! Oh god, no.
I like our bat better than Mickey
Mouse. They're switching it.
We can have them fight Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
So I think it's Steamboat Willie that's becoming public domain. It's like kind of like in the same loophole as Superman, the Max Fleischer thing is. I think what I'm looking at right now. It says in 2024, the copyright on the first story ever featured Mickey Mouse will expire. This means nearly 95 years after the first animation short film featuring Mickey Mouse, the most iconic character will enter public domain. So I think it's Steamboat Willie that's coming public domain. Willie. I think it's just that version of Mickey Mouse, which is weird because, like, you could kind of say that about anything. Like, say a couple decades later, the version of Mickey Mouse from the 50s is public domain, but they still own the copyright from Mickey Mouse from like the 1990s. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, because that would be like, if Warner Brothers trademark and everything on Looney Tunes just started, it was like, all right, these iterations are going to start being up for public domain, but they can still, cycle through all the generations of it they have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like how it's like there's so many loopholes.
I'm sure they're going to find a way to be like, well, technically it is public domain, but this thing you did here still falls under our umbrella, so give us money.
Yeah. Yeah, it says the original design of Mickey Mouse will enter public domain terms of copyright law in 2024.
Okay.
So it will be like the original looking Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse. So you could use that. We could use the old 30s Mickey Mouse.
It's not going to be too long
some
before
reason.
we get the current Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, we could use that one in 2024.
You know what we should do? We should wait for Warner Brothers to lose the copyright on Bugs Bunny and have him fight Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse.
Well, they kind of, the one interaction that they actually had was Roger Rabbit. That was like the only time Disney characters and Warner Brothers characters actually like interacted at all.
Yeah.
Which that was like
this public domain.
Yeah, right. That was basically like DC versus Marvel. That's literally what it was. Yeah, which is crazy, but like I don't know, that movie. That's a whole other podcast. We'll save that for another episode. So do you guys have any other BS before we get into meat and potatoes?
Hold on. I just looked up Bugs Bunny, and supposedly he's gonna go into. It's not 100% confirmed. It looks like, but this is back in August of 2022, and it's stating that Bugs Bunny may go into public domain in 2024 or and beyond. So you may get a Bugs Bunny. There's original one of his like earlier forms.
We'll probably get like
Also.
the 1920s Bugs Bunny.
Most notable for the toy industry, these public domain characters include
Wow.
Mickey Mouse, Superman, Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, Batman, and Bugs Bunny. So they're stating that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 freaking characters, and they're going to be going public domain in like 2024.
Yeah, but it's probably going to be like another like rendition of that character. Like
Well, right now, like
it's Batman before he had his fucking cape and cowl. It's going to be the Bob fucking Kane Batman. The shitty.
It's going to be the versions that nobody knows unless you just have the original videos and stuff.
Yeah. It's going to be the Batman with like the red fucking costume. Wait, I got to. So you know,
we're gonna get the 1920s Iron Man soon, baby.
I gotta show you the original Batman. This is what we're gonna get.
I'm terrible. I think I know what you're talking about. I want to say it gives you like almost like nowadays like kind of like Daredevil feel. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it sucks. All right, ready?
Wow me.
No, you're not ready. That's it.
Can you even see that?
It's barely. It's a little tiny. Yep. It's like kind of.
He looks like
Daredevil got wings.
That's what's going to be public domain. It's that.
Yay!
No one wants that. No one gives a shit.
That looks like Aragon.
Just the way you said that, like, nobody wants that.
no one cares about that.
Oh god.
That's gonna be what's public.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh god, no.
Let's move on to the episode because that's a terrible thing.
Okay, so we are talking about Batman the Animated Series, The Demon's Quest, originally released May 3rd, 1993, and May 4th, 1993, Part 1 and Part 2. And let's see. I guess, I'm going to give this one to Jerry. Jerry, do you want to talk about
I actually wanted
the easy one. You get the easy one, damn it.
I actually wanted to do this one because this is one of the episodes I remember most vividly. So in this episode, it starts off with the boy Blunder because he really dropped the ball in the first 5 minutes. I'm so ashamed of Robin. But he is kidnapped by a mysterious hooded figure, and then Batman / Bruce Wayne goes on a manhunt for 48 hours to find his missing cohort, only to be giving a envelope by Alfred saying, we have your sidekick. If you want to come save him, come find us. And then R'as Al Ghul makes his way into the Batcave. They go on a small adventure together of mistrust and deceit. They do eventually find Robin, where it is revealed that R'as Al Ghul was the mastermind behind it. And his whole plan was, Batman, I know exactly who you are. I know who Bruce Wayne is. I've been alive for a long, long time. And it is revealed that R'as Al Ghul wants to take the planet back to when it was all nature and no humans. And he wanted Bruce Wayne to be his heir, the heir of his will, but he didn't want to do that. And a small fight ensues after R'as Al Ghul goes into the Lazarus pit. And from there, we see Talia tell her father no, and she slaps the shit out of him.
Yep.
That was the Jeez, man.
In the Lazarus pit.
But she's like
Jeez.
literally says this is like she's like this is the way that you can get him out of it, and she's just like
And she just
slap the
she
shit
gave
out
him
of
the Will Smith slap.
Well, he's like about to throw her into the Lazarus pit too, and I
Yeah.
forget what Obo,
Oh,
the
Ubu.
brute,
Ubu.
the Ubu,
Obo.
who's like the muscle of R'as Al Ghul, basically his bodyguard. He's like telling
Yeah.
Batman, he's saying, no, if someone living is thrown into the Lazarus pit, they will die, but it will regenerate a dead person. I love Kevin Conroy's delivery where he's like, I get it. Like, shut up. I understand. I just like that
But
delivery.
then,
Pretty great.
then Batman fights R'as Al Ghul after he tells him, I've got bombs planted on all the Lazarus pits across the world, and my satellite's going to send the kill code, and then things will be perfect. They have a small fight. Batman stops the timer on 2 seconds exactly and not a moment later. And then R'as Al Ghul falls into the silo above a Lazarus pit. And right as Batman goes to save him, he tells him, no, it's all right if I die. And then he falls into the pit. Talia gives her beloved, a final farewell kiss saying, I share my father's dream, but I don't share his method. And so they end somewhat mutually, going their separate ways. And at the end, we see R'as Al Ghul's hand come from the Lazarus pit and his signature insane laugh. I want to start this off by saying the first time when R'as Al Ghul goes into the Lazarus pit, and as he's coming up, it does that it's that swirling effect of the light and dark green, and then the fire coming from his mouth as he has those demonic eyes. That is the one thing I will never forget about this because it was such an interesting transition.
Yeah, no, it is really cool.
Like I like how they did it because it's literally symbolizing the demon that he's coming out as, and it's like good for it. It's like it's just it's gonna be bullshit afterwards because he was such a fragile person in the beginning of the show. That's how he was playing himself off as because he was like slowly dying, and then you just get him like now and like basically at the end. You just got him at full max power again. It's like fuck you.
I also really liked. I know I'm just jumping in because this is like one of my favorite like two-parters. The one thing I really loved about this episode that I forgot about, Batman and R'as Al Ghul both have a very strong mutual respect for each other. I know it's like that in the comics, but like in here, it's like when Batman first knew all along, he was like, of course you're the only person who knew. But he's like, he didn't out him then. He waited for him to say it and then was like, I respect you for, helping me help myself. But he was also at the end, he was like, I'm willing to put our differences aside, even though we disagree, into saving your life. Not for your daughter, but because you're not inherently a bad person for what you're trying to do this time around.
Well, until part 2.
I said this time around because he's absolutely batshit. No relation to the mascot.
But I love how like this whole thing starts off because it kicks off because Batman won't take his place. Like we didn't even know about the bomb thing. Like we don't even think what if like Batman just said, fuck it, I'll be you. And like would the bomb thing even happen? Would he just R'as Al Ghul just like
would
die?
not happen. It wouldn't.
No, he would just dismantle all of them.
Batman just said, "Fuck it, I'll be you," and just let him die. None of this would have fucking.
Well, yeah, at that point, like basically, okay. So this is Batman's dilemma, or like his turn in turmoil is like he doesn't want to accept Rach's agreement or like what he's offering to him. Basically, what Ra's is offering, you will have all this power. You will have all my armies, all my weapons, all access to Lazarus Pit. You'll have my daughter. You'll have all this, and you'll be my successor. And Batman's like, well, I guess his inner turmoil is if I do that, then I'm no better than R'as Al Ghul. But even Talia's like, I agree with what my father, what he's going for, but I don't agree with his methods on how he's doing it. And if Batman, Batman should. If I was Batman, I'd just fucking say yes. I would go like, yeah, give me that, give me fucking Talia. Talia is like fucking gorgeous, beautiful. Give me that. Give me all this power, and then like he can kind of do it his own way too. And especially when like R'as Al Ghul is presumably dead, then you're just like, you know what, Talia, your father's dead. Might as well get together. You don't have to deal with him. But that's not how Batman rolls.
Mm-mm.
No, Batman doesn't go down on women either. It was a big thing, I think, like 2 years ago or something. I don't know how it came out, but
Oh yeah, wasn't that in the comic?
Yeah, that was in the comment. Like, Batman doesn't go down on Selena, and everybody was like, "He's a peasant."
That's so weird. Why was that even like written? Who wrote that?
I don't know. That was just the most awkward thing to see.
I remember that. So, if you guys were Batman, would you take the deal? Would you do it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because I don't have to honor the deal.
Like it's
like
not
so obvious.
It's right there in your face. Like it's easy. You get rid of the most evil person in the fucking world, and you just take over for him, and you can just, like you said,
I
you can
get
do whatever you
everything
want.
he has without question. Yes, and not even to mention his daughter being smoking. He has the best information network like ever, and he has people all over the world.
Yeah,
he's the leader of the League of Assassins.
And it's not
Who
like
would not want his,
like what the fuck?
It's not like Talia. Bruce and Talia never met before. They met in a previous episode. I forget the title of it, but
yeah,
they meet before and prior, and they have obviously admiration for each other. They obviously like have feeling for each other. It's like an equal.
There's supposed to be a fling.
And like it's like even stated in the beginning when Bruce Wayne is with Talia, they're basically looking for the father for R'as Al Ghul in the second part, and he's like, "Oh, the only thing we can agree on is our feelings for you." So like he obviously has feelings for her. I don't know. And then there's that one shot where like the Lazarus pit is like blowing up, right? And he's like gonna get caved in. And like you see Talia, and the door is closing on and you see Talia, you see her legs, and it's just like it's perfect. That's what you're missing out on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing, dude?
Like honestly, I was really like I get a conflicted feeling about it because everything R'as Al Ghul was doing, I'm like, this isn't evil. And on a very technical level, it's the same thing that Poison Ivy wants. He just has the means and the follow through to do it. But it's also like, you could, and I know it would be like way like 100 times harder to do, but you could just, slowly start influencing everyone. Like, hey, we need to change our lifestyle differently because we're not going to be able to survive on the planet a lot longer, because he had the influence to put people in power who shared those same ideas, of course, after having them murdered. But he wasn't like, at no point was Robin in any true danger.
No, he wasn't.
No,
the means to get Batman to go there.
Yeah, and even when Ra's was fighting Batman, he had every chance to say like, "Yeah, go ahead and kill him." He took his utility belt. He disarmed him. He put him in a cell. He didn't do anything to mean like true harm. He wanted someone that he knew would share and understand him to be where he is.
No, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about it because while I do agree, like Talia said, I agree with what my father wants to do, but I don't want to do it like how he did it. I'm like, I kind of would do it like Raish's way because that way you get a clean slate from the jump the fastest way possible with no hiccups.
See, that's why Batman gonna arrest you. I mean, yeah, he is doing it in like kind of the worst way, I think, because he just wants to eradicate the human population, especially at the end of the episode. He's
Well,
just like,
Batman
"I'm just
just
gonna
broke up
blow
with
everyone
him.
up. Everyone's just gonna die from the Lazarus pit, and there'll be like 10 people alive, just like my army." Basically. And like, I like how it shows the implications of what would happen. It shows like basically the island of Manhattan reverting back into its like swampy state that it was. I just see Matt like frozen on the screen. I don't know.
Oh, he's moving for me.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, I like how it shows like all the implications and everything, and I like the setting too. It's not Batman in Gotham; it's Batman basically in different parts of
the world.
but basically on the
He really traveled around the world in like
eastern
less
side.
than 80 days.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So basically, Batman and the Indiana Jones setting. It's like Batman. It's pretty cool. I like the whole setting. I like how it changes the whole dynamic of what Batman's really used to. It shows Batman in elements that he's not really used to being. He's not in his hometown. He's not in Gotham, so he doesn't have the leverage that he usually has. And like
He doesn't have Commissioner Gordon.
No, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't even have Robin. And like R'as Al Ghul, like basically like comes in right to the Batcave, turns his world upside down from the get go, because he sees him without his mask. He's like, I know you're Bruce Wayne. I don't really give a shit. My daughter's stolen. So is your ward. Let's go and try to find them. And it's all just a test. He's just testing Batman's detective skills and if he's actually like the man that R'as Al Ghul thinks he is. And then he finds out that he's the successor that he wants him to be, but Batman doesn't agree to his methods or his policies, and so he doesn't take the deal. And that's why Batman goes back to Gotham City at the end and flies away on the plane with Robin. And I don't know. It's like you think about it, you're like, okay, well, Batman actually took the deal. He could have done it in his own way, in a justifiable way, where he doesn't have to eradicate the world leaders like Jerry wants to. And like he could probably elect the right people.
I'd do it.
And like he could actually make a change to Gotham City. It's not just him like battling thug after thug just to stay on the same level. He could actually elevate the city and the whole world basically to a
Instead of one Batman, he can have 10 Batmans. He can have multiple.
Yeah, sure. That's not even what I would mean. But yeah, you can do that too. It just makes you think like what he could actually do with this.
Oh, it'd be terrifying. It'd be really terrifying. Like, what you can
I wouldn't
do
say it would be terrifying. I think that's what Batman's afraid that he's going to turn into a madman like it's going to go to his head.
Yeah.
Like he would use the Lazarus pit and then become a psycho like he does. When he's about to throw Talia off the cliff.
But just imagine how many times R'as Al Ghul like has used that pit. Imagine. And every time you go in that pit, a little piece of you dies. So just imagine how many years, like, it was it 600 years? It said it was. He was like
something like that.
He was alive for. So 600 years. An average lifespan is about 80 years old for an average person, up to like 90s. Like for most people, they're living a healthy lifestyle. Like. And then R'as Al Ghul is just adding an extra, like, maybe 30 years, maybe. I don't know what the fuck really the time length really of it is. And then he just has to redo it. You'd think about his soul is pretty much nothing at this point. And he's just like,
It's
I would
like
say you would have some
it's the curse of
self-control.
immortality.
Yeah, I
That's
think you
like
would
how
have.
if everybody wanted a superpower, they choose immortality. This is the same thing. Because
Yeah.
the longer you're alive, the more or less of your humanity you keep or lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see, Ray's his whole thing was, yeah, people are bad. I've been alive 600 years, so I've seen the absolute worst, which you would. 600 years of history is long and it is dark. The further
Yeah.
you dig
Yeah,
through,
you're not seeing the best of humanity.
No.
You're seeing the
He's
worst, especially
especially when
for a
you
long
go back
time.
when you go back 600 years, I think that's that's still like when Napoleon, you still have like when people were still trying to colonize and really start establishing everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now, if you can just go
European
back 100
colonization,
years,
You
you just
might have
go.
a few crusades left.
world, all the world wars he
You literally
witnessed,
just go back 100
Civil
years, you're
War.
already seen shit.
Yeah.
So
And that's all through the world too. That's just not in the parts we know.
I wonder if he
Right.
even. I wonder at the backstory for Raish if he ever involved himself in those wars, or he just stayed put.
Maybe I would assume like
I
the first
wonder.
few, but not everyone after.
I don't think he was ever like a soldier. I think he would have been like a
No, no,
general.
no. Like I just wonder if he would just sit in the background and just like manipulate situations with his
He
military.
definitely would do that.
Like just
That's how
sit there and just nobody understands how they lost or how they won. It's just they know something happened, and that was it.
Mhm.
He's just trying to make sure his little path is making its way, not someone else's.
Yeah, I like this interpretation of R'as Al Ghul, like this one and the Arkham games. I feel like the Arkham universe and the Batman the animated universe are like one and the same, at least in my head's canon. Like I kind of connect them together because it's Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, same writing team, and this R'as Al Ghul is more interesting to me than the one in Batman Begins. 'Cause the one in Batman Begins, he's just like, he's a good fighter, he's a good trainer, but he hasn't lived those centuries before and had all that experience. It's Liam Neeson, which is kind of cool. But
Did
like
we
this
even?
R'as Al Ghul has been through so much shit, and it's just so much more interesting. There's no
You've
Lazarus
seen the
Pit.
ups and downs.
Yeah, like the Lazarus Pit, and like just what he's been through human history, what makes the character like that much more interesting. And he's probably way smarter than Batman, but I think it's the Lazarus Pit, like you guys were saying, that kind of eats away at his soul, that kind of damages his brain,
Mhm.
So like every time he goes back in, he gets like worse and worse.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to go back to like you mentioned Batman Begins. I'm trying to go back to that movie. I don't even think we even talk about his like R'as Al Ghul's like
No.
backstory. We didn't even they didn't hint on
No,
how
he's
long
just,
he
he's
lived.
just like one of
They
the.
don't even.
He's part of the League of Assassins and that.
Yeah, he like states like he just that, and then later on like I was the leader the whole time, so fuck you, Bruce. I'm trying to do
Yeah.
this shit now. But like it didn't like that's the one thing that was it Christopher Reeves like kind of lacked on it, like branching his background. And he's like tried to just make him
Christopher
more
Reeve?
Christopher Reeves. Wow, why is no like
Christopher
Nolan?
Reeves was Superman.
Oh, bad Christopher Nolan.
Chris Nolan or Christian Bale? Who are you trying to talk
No,
about?
I'm trying to talk about the director that made the freaking movie.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Nolan.
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves?
I fucked up. Leave me alone.
George Reeves.
So like, I feel like he just fucked up and like kind of just left this big hole, like that's for R'as Al Ghul's like backstory. Like they just like forgot to do something with it. This is why I like how like they kind of try to keep him more of a secret, but until the end, so we can show like he's he's an evil guy. But like we could have had a lot more setup instead of bringing in what's it call it was it Scarecrow? Yeah,
And they barely do the Scarecrow right. They barely do
Scarecrow
the
was just
Scarecrow right, and they barely do R'as Al Ghul right. That's
yeah.
kind of why, like, I like those movies, but I'm not like a big fan of them because they take out so many of the necessary.
They
elements
took
that were
the
in the comic book.
important bits out.
Mhm.
Yeah, all the interesting stuff that was in the comic books. Obviously, it's more fantastical, But that's interesting shit. And they take it all out and like they try to normalize it. I get it. But like
Yeah, I really hate how
that,
they did
that
Scarecrow.
makes it interesting.
Scarecrow's my favorite Batman villain.
Yeah, and
Like-
they like didn't do anything with them
No,
in
like
those movies.
my favorite Scarecrow
Like he
is
had a
really from
neat
the Arkham
design.
Knight. Arkham Asylum. Like,
Arkham
that's
Asylum Scarecrow still
fucking
gives me night
It
terrors.
is amazing.
Yeah, that's
It's so
probably one of my
fucking
favorites.
nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's really cool. Like, I mean, they did do the scare elements, like the fear toxin, pretty well. Like when they showed Batman, like as that demon and everything. But like
Yeah.
the Scarecrow himself, like had nothing really going on.
No.
You know? Like the fear toxin stuff
Yeah.
worked, but not the Scarecrow. The mask looked cool. That was about it.
It just
was
feel
alright.
like you just there just to hold a place, just so R'as Al
he's
Ghul can
like a
get
side
his
character,
drugs.
side thug.
Yeah,
You know? It could have been
it
anyone.
was like
He was the
Yeah.
appetizer.
Yeah. Anyway, from Batman Begins, Demon's Quest. What do you guys' final thoughts?
shit.
Crispy, you go. I really took
kinda
charge
like-
this time.
I just want to like just mention. I didn't want to like do my final thought. I just wanted to mention like one quick thing. Like I kind of like it's kind of funny to me before I do like the final thought thing. It's like how Robin was just not really there. Even like I get the first episode.
Even
I
at the end,
get the first. I get
Yeah.
the episode. Like the first episode is like literally like him being captured. But like once they get him back, they're basically like, "Fuck you, Robin. You're not gonna help." He just sits in the plane like, "I'm keeping it warm for Bruce. I'm keeping it warm for Bruce."
Yeah, he's
That's
just
really
sitting in the
it.
plane.
It's
Yeah.
like they should have like at least like do like Robin. You want payback? You want to get like help me like stop this guy? And no, I'm like you get to sit in this passenger seat and just make sure no one touches the plane. That's all it was for him.
Oh yeah, exactly. I kind of like
God,
They're
how.
really
I think if
sidelined
they-
Robin.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he did show up at the end, it kind of would have like.
It would have been
It
cheesy.
wouldn't like impact. Yeah, it wouldn't impact
Yeah,
the story
but-
that much. So like I think that's why he's just like we don't really need him in the story.
I know,
It's
but
more
this-
about R'as Al Ghul and Batman and Talia, like
Yeah.
their relationship. Robin's
Yeah.
just a means to the end, basically.
Yeah, that's like the only thing I was like thinking. I'm like, they just really just they just used them, and that was it. You just used and abused and just threw it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, he's just like a MacGuffin, basically. He's not even a character.
He's a he's a MacGuffin. It was
All right, well, final thoughts about this episode. The funny thing is, like, I don't remember this episode as much as I watched this anime series, and I actually enjoyed it. It was a really good episode for being episodes because it was two-parter. I did like Jerry said, like one of my favorite, like when R'as Al Ghul goes into the pit and like gets reborn again, basically. That is one of my favorite parts, and just like kind of like just seeing him just like R'as Al Ghul is kind of like my favorite thing in this whole episode. Other than Batman, like just being like Batman has some funny moments with like Abu or whatever his name is, like doing like, "Oh, that's one strike, that's two strike,
Yeah.
then that's three strikes. All right," just throws him fucking away, basically. But like I said, like R'as Al Ghul is like kind of my favorite thing because you know who he is, but you don't know what his like in the beginning of the episode. You don't know what his plans are yet, other than my daughter's missing, and then I'll help you because you're missing. You're Robin. I'll work together and try to get it back. Then you see everything coming in play. If you pay attention to him, you know he's up to something with his like kind of like how he enters the scene or like come into play, like have like those like face staring at Bruce when he's trying to figure like Bruce is doing something throughout the whole throughout the first like few episodes, and then he goes batshit crazy for the rest of it. It's like, okay, this is what we were supposed to be seeing. Like this is what I've been meant to get now. Is this how like we spend like kind of seen them in like some of the comics, and some of like I I'm not gonna like the ending, like the battle scene was actually pretty. I like the like how they did some of the shading and like art style for like the mayhem that was happening while they're doing the epic fight between R'as Al Ghul and Batman. And host left and joined again. Hello. It's
I
funny.
didn't
It
do
pops up on my screen. I know it just pops up on my screen. It's weird. But for me, I enjoyed, including some of the. I liked like the music for like the ending of the second episode a lot more. It had some decent like the when the basically the battle stuff is like had decent music for it. Uh, I would say for these episodes, I'll give it a good 8. Like, well, hmm. How do I kind of do I have to rate both, or can I do them together?
I thought we were doing them together.
I think it's just one thing. I would.
Okay, so if it's one thing, I'll make it. I'm rating it like an 8 for me.
Okay. It's very interesting. There's a lot of points in there I agree with.
Um, so I just wanted to state, Talia Al Ghul is voiced by Helen Slater, who's also known as Supergirl in the 1980s film. So I thought that was a neat
Like
little
animated
tidbit of
film,
information. Huh?
like animated film, or like a
No, the
live
live
action.
action
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that no one likes. But,
Oh,
I
All I
actually
heard is
haven't seen
probably
it.
Al Ghul.
but we like her now.
I mean, Helen Slater. I mean, like she has a really good voice for it, and like I mean, I would not blame her for the reasoning behind why um Supergirl was a dumpster fire. She's not the reason. Like it's completely the studio and directors, more the producers.
Hmm.
But anyway, I just wanted to
I
say
will go
that.
next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I agree a lot with what Crispy said. This is like this iteration of R'as Al Ghul. I like this because he brings up a real moral dilemma between people. Because say you have like the age old question, what would you do is to help the dying planet? And some people would say like oh, I would try my best to convince everyone we need to change our lifestyles. And then you have other people who say I would just reset and kill all the humans and let the planet slowly recover it and rebuild itself. And the way Race was going to do it, I think was, very unique and interesting to him. He was using something that only he knew about that no other villain could try to replicate. And I also really love the fact that both he and Batman never downplayed each other. They always were prepared for what the other was going to do. Like even when Batman got back Robin, Rage knew in his mind, like, yeah, Batman's not dead. He's going to come back out of this. And when he had captured him, he was like, leave him alive, because he still respected him so much in the fashion that he understands me. He shares the same ideology I do. Like, yes, the planet is in trouble and something has to be done. But the means that they both want to get to help, regenerate the planet are two very different things. But even still within that, they didn't let that defer them for the, I'm not going to say admiration, but respect. And what's the opposite word of respect I'm trying to think of here? I guess appeal.
Like a mop head.
That they each had for each other. I really enjoy how even though Robin and Talia were, here in the episode, they were only there for like the small moments that they needed to be, because everything else was really centered around, all right, well, is Batman gonna take Race's plan of being his heir and help reset the planet? Or is he gonna take his offer but change it and do it his own way, or just reject him, for outright? And I really wish that they did more episodes like this, especially with like some of the new stuff that they've done with, Batman, Superman, and all the other animated cartoons that they have. Well, they've done it a little bit in kind of Young Justice when I watched that, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm gonna be right behind Matt. I'm gonna give this an 8.5, just because this iteration, and I'm not gonna even call this a fight. It was more of like a duel of morals between Batman and R'as Al Ghul, and I don't think we're gonna see something like this, from Batman unless it's in the comics again. Because this was just a very interesting way to use a well-known villain, and it's not a controversial topic, but more of like, what would you do in a similar situation? Because Josh said he wouldn't, kill everyone. I said I'd kill everybody. Fuck it, let's all just die. I'm not trying to be on a dying planet.
Oh God.
So Jerry wants to eradicate us all. Got it.
Kill all humans. Bending Rodriguez said it best.
Okay. I mean, it's gonna happen either way, one way or another.
Jerry's just ripping the Band-Aid off. Like, that's all he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be easier. Kill everybody, let nature reclaim the planet. We've all seen those documentaries.
Yeah, there's a few. Anyway,
there's so many.
I like to be the optimistic. I like to be the optimist. I'm the Superman of the group. I think humanity is to a higher plane.
I just want to know how many documentaries Jerry has watched on this now. I'm sorry. The way he's like reacting to it is like, there's so many of them. Like, what do you mean?
There are a lot.
There's a lot.
Batman's just struggling to stay on the same place. Superman's trying to like elevate humanity, I think. Letting humanity make their own choice at the same time. Anyway, I would probably give this episode a 9. This is one of my favorite episodes. I just love the whole dynamic between Batman, R'as Al Ghul, and Talia, and what his inner feelings are, and his battle between like, is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? And he basically sticks with his guns. He's like, this is the promise I made to my parents. I'm going to stay Batman. Like, this is it. I'm not doing anything else. It's cool to see Batman in different areas or different landscapes that you don't normally see him. Like, this is basically Indiana Jones, like it's an Indiana Jones-esque adventure, but with Batman as a character. And Batman does work in like other elements in other locations. That's what kind of makes the character interesting. But they don't really do that in movies. They don't put him in other scenarios where he's in different locations. Not too much. I mean, they did a little bit in the Nolan verse where he's in the third one where he's like in that pit or whatever. But like he's in prison. Yeah. It's not like him, like, worldly. Like, I feel like Batman should be like Indiana Jones. Like, Indiana Jones is very a worldly person. Like, I don't think he, like, says he's American. He's more like, I'm a national. Like, I'm from the world, And I feel like Batman should kind of be, like, the same kind of ideology at least. Like, he kind of has, he has, like, knowledge from every realm and every culture. So I think that's kind of where Batman should be. And it would be cool to see a live action Batman in like, Egypt or like, a desert or somewhere like where you don't see Batman.
Well,
but they probably won't do that.
It's so much easier just to film in the city because it's just you can work with it more than just like out in like nature. You can't you have to predict like what's gonna happen. Are we gonna be downpour? If you're in the desert, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna get a sandstorm? Are we gonna get
anything about any location?
I know, but like a city is more controlled. Like a city's more controlled though.
The city might have a really bad car crash or something,
or hurricane, or whatever. Whatever. My movies are made in different locations.
I know,
Not
but
just
like
made in cities.
I know, but I'm just saying for like what they're gonna do like Batman be easy, just like to them it's just basically easier just to leave him in the fucking city because you don't have to deal with all the nonsense of all the
Right.
crap.
Well,
Yeah.
easier doesn't necessarily mean better. Easier means
I
fucking
know.
boring. That's what that means. Anyway, to get back to my point, this is one of my favorite episodes, like the whole storyline. Talia is great. um, they could make him look as great as possible as they want to. Yeah, so 9 out of 10, definitely really recommend. I might even, on another viewing, give it a higher rating, but this is like one of my
Oh
favorite
yeah, definitely.
episodes.
Mhm.
It's nice to see. There's so many different set pieces too. Like there's Batman on the plane. Batman jumps off the plane. Batman's in Gotham. Batman's in the Batcave. Batman's in the desert. Batman's like in a temple. There's so many different set pieces, and that's what makes it really interesting too. It's not just like one set location.
Yeah, it's always fun to have all those different places to see Batman handle enemies.
All right. Oh yeah. So we're gonna move on to 1943's classic film Casablanca, starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Paul Henreid. I'm probably saying that name wrong, but that's okay. And Matt, can you take it away?
Oh my god. Um how do I explain this fucking movie very well? So this movie takes place in Casablanca, a cafe slash cafe slash bar slash like what's it called, casino styled little like little joint that this gentleman, I believe his name is Richard, he ends up getting a task to help move a what's it called, he a escape a person that
The
escaped
Fugitive.
the fugitive of the Nazis that to escape the what's it well and the fugitive escape to go to America, but while he is slowly unveiling like who the identity of this person is, he ends up discovering that the person is married to one of his ex-lovers that he knew in Paris. Oh yeah, I forgot to say
Patty.
Richard and what's it called? Richard is from America, New York, actually. He originally is from there. He went to Paris. Then he's in Casablanca. That's in Africa. And as this all is happening, everybody's trying to figure out how to keep how to get the. I think I'm trying to remember. Laszlo is his name. How to get Laszlo and I want to say her name's Elizabeth, but I can't. I'm not 100
It's
percent
like
sure.
Elsa or something.
And trying to get them to go to America, but Richard is it's like playing on his like basically his heartstrings basically because he really likes the woman his ex girlfriend still, but she's married to Laszlo and all that stuff, other stuff, and it's basically a love story to a point where at the end, the Nazis are figuring out that Laszlo's in that little cafe and doing all that stuff. So they're trying to make deals how to capture Laszlo, and Richard is like manipulating the situation with everybody to get to the end of the movie where Richard gets Laszlo and his ex girlfriend onto the plane to America safely, and it's a giant it's really I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard to pay attention to this movie's dynamics because there's so many gears happening at once. Because you got the love story, you got the mystery of the story, you got all the additional scene
Nazis.
to Nazi, yeah, all this stuff that's happening. Like, because we're not like at the end, like we're not even like near the end. We're not even in the beginning. We're in the middle of like World War II while this is happening. While Nazi Germany is literally taking over everything. So like it's just like I don't know. I had like I said like I was telling Josh like yesterday. Like I had to kind of watch this twice. Well, I had to watch like I did watch it twice, but to grasp more of it. But like it's still in my head, I'm still confused and like with some certain spots. But I'm just like, but it's a good fucking movie. That's the problem. It's a great movie. But it's just like because like I said, like it's just so many little gears. There's the love story and all the stuff, but someone else take it away.
I
Someone
guess
help.
I'll pick up.
Grab the rope. Save me.
I wanted to see how long you were going to go with it.
I wanted someone to save me. Interrupt, damn it, for once.
So everything Matt was saying is true. There is a lot of layers to this story because not only, like he said, is this a romance mystery, and then you have the suspense of, what's not an action, but, like, okay, are these people going to escape these Nazi officers that are looking for them? What's going to happen? And even within that, there's still a lot of dynamic that's left untouched because in Casablanca, they know that the guy, what's his name? Richard, Blaine, Ricky. I'm just calling him Ricky.
Mostly just call him Rick, but yeah.
I'm gonna call him Ricky. They know Ricky's running this illegal gambling saloon, but he's paying off the officials and everybody from time to time to just let him operate and make all this money. So they just kind of come in knowingly and turn a blind eye. And then they even know, like, oh, there's somebody here working in the black market. Now, like Matt said, this is in the middle of World War II. So there's a lot of people like, hey, I need an exit visa. Here's everything I have, and you can sleep with my wife. Just let me get the hell out. Because there was been one woman that was begging, like, please, 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 she was essentially saying, like, I'll do anything you want to get this exit visa. And even though and then she asked him, like, would that make me a bad person to get something that we needed? And I had to lie to my husband about how we did it. And he was just like, and then he walked up to the slot table and was like, did you try putting everything you have on 22 black? And then he looks at the guy and he knew that was the signal. And you just have all of this other stuff going on, like people trying to find out who Ricky is, some more lovers. And then you have, the underground movement that are helping move, hide and move the escaped Jews and people from the concentration camps.
Yep.
And then you have the Nazis that are looking for people. There's a lot of this story to unpack. I had to rewatch this several times myself. Well, key moments that I knew that were important.
Because at one point you do the flashback back to Paris. Then you got the Laszlo side story shit going on with what he has his plans and how to get things going with his group because he's a leader in his rebellion shit that he wants to like get started again. And there is a lot of fucking ugh. I don't know. It just what did you got to say, Josh? I guess you could say something.
There are a lot of moving parts to this movie, and this movie is a very short film. It's only an hour, 42 minutes.
For the
runtime.
Yeah,
and like this movie wastes no time whatsoever. It gets you right in the thick of it.
Yep.
Like it shows you the planet. It shows you the globe of the Earth, and then it just basically states these are like there's refugees that basically can go to certain areas where there's some safe havens, but they're still in like basically a limbo until they get to the Americas. Like most of these people from Europe that have, ties to a European country that's been taken over by Nazi Germany, basically wants to get the hell out of there and fly to America. But you need these. Well, I forget what it is. It's like they're not pamphlets, but like they're almost passports.
they're like exit visas.
It's
they're like
It's this old system that they used to use a long time ago. It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, so they need these visas to basically give permission to leave the country. So like, and these visas are very expensive. They're very hard to obtain. You got to get checked off by Nazi Germany, and they even show in the beginning like someone's papers was expired to be in Casablanca for like that moment in time. I think they're like 3 weeks expired, and they immediately just gun them down. So like, there's no
They just
remorse
put him to death.
whatsoever. Yeah, you just get shot. Like, if you don't have the right paperwork, you're dead. So like, everyone's looking for these visas. They're trying to sell diamonds. They're trying to sell whatever the goods they have to get out of there. But like, basically, Casablanca is like this weird limbo where it's a French territory, but France got taken over by Nazi Germany at that point in time. So it's like the French government has to oblige to Nazi Germany, even though they don't want to. But at that moment in time, basically, France was Germany at that point. And Captain Lewis, he's like the one French officer. He's obviously like a good person, but like
I enjoy him.
Orders. Yeah, he's a really good
I love him. Like,
Claude Rains plays him. He was also known as the Invisible Man in the original
really?
1930s film. He does a really great Invisible Man. If you guys ever seen that, we'll probably do that in the future at some point.
I actually had that as
really
a recommendation in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's really good. And like Humphrey Bogart's character, Rick, he's like he's always kind of standoffish to the patrons at his tavern. He's like, oh, can you get Rick to sit over here with us? Like, it's basically like
he keeps his distance like all the time. Like, he doesn't let his guard down.
Even the people who actually have like big money, like oil rig people and everything, like they're like, oh, well, I own the biggest company and blah 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 blah. They're like, oh, Rick doesn't care. Like, Rick does not care what you own or what you do. Like, he wants no part of it. And at some point, he was a rebel. Like, he was like rebelling against the evils of the world. Like it's stated by the captain. Like in one of the scenes, like he's basically saying, "Oh, you're so sentimentalist. Like I know, like you better not help out with Laszlo's escape because not like we were planning on arresting him in your establishment here." And Rick's like, "Oh, I don't stick my neck out for no one. Don't know how, no way." And he's like, "Well, your history tells me otherwise." And he's basically trying to keep the upfront, like he's a tough guy and he wants nothing to do with anyone. And he doesn't care about anyone's well-being. And then Peter Lorre's character, he has those visas. So like he's a very minor character. He has the visas. He comes into the establishment. He's like, Rick, I know you're the only person I can trust with these visas. He's trying to help with Laszlo's case to get him to America to basically start this uproar and this uprising against Nazi Germany because Laszlo has escaped like concentration camps, like so many like impairments with Nazi Germany, and he's bringing along his wife, which Rick doesn't know the implications of, like that's one of his past loves at one point until she finally goes into his establishment. And out of all the gin joints and out of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine. And that's when Rick's world is completely basically destroyed. Like his persona
it got flipped.
is just like
his persona just leaves.
Just like comes out of him. And I would be lying if I haven't felt like I have felt like that before. I felt like what Rick was feeling in that position at one point in time. And I understood, like you could see the inner turmoil in his eyes, and like how he's like it's just like eating at him, and he's like, I know she's gonna come here. He's talking to Sam. Sam was the pianist when they had their moments in Paris, and their moments. Sam was like a true loyal friend. He called Rick wherever he went, and then like Sam's basically just telling him like he's got to move on and like everything's gonna be okay, and like she's bad news anyway, and like Rick just doesn't know how to take it.
Yeah, like, Sam's like the word of reasoning with him. Like at that point, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
like his
Sam-
little
He was basically his moral compass
yeah.
when trying to deal with her.
He's another character I like too. I liked how
Sam's really cool.
Sam's like a good character to have in this movie. And like his
Yeah.
little point where he's like he has his little moments at like the freaking the piano with the ex-girlfriend. He's like just trying to lie, but he knows he doesn't want to lie to her because they had a relationship back in the day. He's like, I don't want to just be like this person, but he's trying to keep Rich out of the picture, Rick out of the picture, so it doesn't like racially get in the way of all this bullshit. Because that's the first person she sees is Sam, and then Rick comes into play once she gets Sam to start playing the song that Rick banded Sam to ever play ever again because of the past the connection they had to them.
Mhm.
So like that's when like
Mhm.
it happened. So like basically it's like it's a weird like he's like the connection. Like he's that little like this the middle part piece.
Yeah,
like
he's the one who basically gets them to reconnect accidentally
yeah.
because he doesn't want to do
He's the
that.
Yeah.
man.
He requests the song and he's like, "All right, I guess I'll
He's
play it."
trying.
And then Rick comes
tried
up
not to
he's
play
like, "I
it.
told you never play that again."
Yeah,
As
because he
time
was with
goes by,
them
that's the song. And then that's
because
when Rick sees her and he's like,
mhm.
"Oh."
Yeah, because he was with them during Paris and everything too. So I want to know how far back Sam is to Rick because Rick came from New York to Paris and Sam was with him in Paris with them in Paris.
Sam's
So one
obviously
Yeah.
American, so like I
yeah,
would
so
assume
like I
He's probably been with him for a while.
yeah, so like because like I don't know if they connect you could have like they could have connected in Paris at some point with some shit or but like
I think it goes further back.
that's what I'm thinking too, but like it just like I want to know more than just like this is where we originally see him is in Paris, and then to
Yeah.
Casablanca.
You know what? You know what's interesting about this movie? Like, it makes me think about like the lore of the characters too. Like where did Sam
Mhm.
and Rick meet for the first time? And like with these kind of older movies, you don't really think about that kind of stuff. Really, it's like okay,
Hmm.
what you see is what you get. But with this, you're like, I want to know more about where they originated, where they came from, like Rick's backstories, and like his rebellion and his like offshoots and everything, his previous adventures before even
I
going.
want a prequel.
Yeah.
I want to know everything about Superman. What
Right.
color socks does he wear?
Yeah. But going back to Peter Lorre's character, he's such a minor character. He has the visas and he gives it to Rick. And during one of Sam's performances, he basically hides the two visas in the piano.
Mhm.
Peter Lorre's character is like he's trying to help the rebellion. He's trying to get people to leave Casablanca in America, and he's basically a direct help to Laszlo, and Laszlo's looking to meet his character, but he's gunned down because the Germans are onto his tail and know that he's the one giving out the visas to all these other patrons throughout Casablanca. And so they find Peter Lorre, and I think they take him away. That they arrest him. I don't know what happens to him. I think he dies. I'm assuming he's
Yeah, I
dead.
think
Don't
they killed him.
explain them. I don't think they explain it. Really, they're like Josh saying, like they take him away. That's all we get.
You don't know what happens, but being Nazis, he's probably
Probably.
he probably
They probably shot him in the ocean.
yeah probably it's right there.
Fucking launched them.
And even the minor characters, like Peter Lorre's character, he's like in like I don't know a couple minutes of the film, but he's the one who really gets the plot going. He's the one who brings the visas to Rick, and Rick is
Yeah.
now the gatekeeper of the visas because Laszlo and you know Laszlo's wife. What's his name? What's her name? Is
I think
Ilsa?
it's Isla.
Elsa?
Elsa?
Lisa. Is it something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. So
Because
he's
it's spelled
basically the gatekeeper of the
ILSA.
visas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper of the visas. And like he probably would just give it to Laszlo if she had no part of it. But like since she comes into the establishment and like basically turns his world upside down. He's like, "What? No, you're not gonna this is fine."
He was like,
And then
I waited for you in that torrential downpour by that train because you said we would go together. And this,
Yeah.
I also didn't know this movie had some of like the most famous quotes I've ever heard.
Mhm.
And when she was like, we'll always have, he told her, we'll always have Paris.
Oh, yeah,
And when he
Paris.
Yep.
spoke to,
Yep.
he talked to the captain, is like, this is going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Mhm.
Looking at you, kid.
Yeah.
Play it again, Sam. There's so many lines that are like from this movie that are just in pop culture, but you don't really think. You're like, oh, that's just part of pop.
Yeah,
That's
because
just
I thought that
normal
for a
life.
long, long time. And then I'm like, I hear it in this. I'm like, oh, so this is where it came from.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is like a movie that's like within pop culture knowledge. You kind of know of it without watching it, but like Matt was saying, there's so many different parts and moving gears for
Yeah.
this film that I think
If
you
you
do
blink,
need to
you'll
watch
miss it.
to really get all the implications of like obviously the meaning of the story. And it's like it's basically these two stories are forbidden love and what you should do under like the certain circumstances. Should you follow your heart or should you follow your
Your gut.
Compass.
your
Yeah.
gut or like your
Yeah.
premonition? Not really premonition, but like your morals. Should you follow your
Because
heart or your morals?
Because Rick stuck to his guns really almost all the way through the movie. And it wasn't until the very end where he changed his ways. Because his whole thing was, yeah, I don't drink with any of my patrons. I don't help anybody out. Well, here he is doing a pretty big solid to help get the Laszlos out. And even after he promises the dude's wife, like, yeah, I'll get your husband out, and then it'll be me and you, baby. And she was like, I love both of you so much. You have to make a decision, which he did. He made a decision that although he knew hurt him, he got that closure and was like, even when we're apart, I know she's always going to have that spot for me and her too.
The thing
and
is,
then
like,
at that point, he was like, you know what? You asked me to do something and I did it. And he said, trust me, if you come with me, you're going to be in the same position you were when we were in Paris. You had me, but you were still lonely. And he said, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life if you don't do it.
At the end of the film, if you don't get on that plane, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And, it's definitely a powerful moment. It's like, you're kind of thinking about that character and, like, what the right repercussions are. Like, obviously, like, she is an inspiration for Laszlo's rebellion. And Laszlo is just such a redeeming person. Like, he even knows about their past relationship to a degree, and he doesn't even fault either character for it. He's just like, okay, that's what it is.
We're in the middle of a war. People are dying like daily, so I don't blame my wife for believing I was dead.
And she did get the note or whatever message that her husband has died, and this is the middle of World War II. So, like, yeah, him being a rebellion, fighting for the Allies, like being in Nazi territory, you would think, okay, that's what happened. And then she fell in love with Rick in this perfect paradise of Paris before Nazis took it over. And then, she found out right before they're going to run away together that her husband is still alive. What do you do?
He knew he couldn't be upset because who's to say if him and his wife's position were reversed, he wouldn't do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that, especially during the occupancy of France, I'm sure things of that nature were extremely common. All throughout Europe. Like, oh, my husband was Jewish, but I'm not Jewish, so they took him and spared me, or they got him while I was out doing normal stuff, and then my husband's dead. I need, you still need companionship, especially through the dark times that World War II was. Just to have that small ray of hope or that false image of, you know what, everything's still normal despite all the atrocities.
I want to commend this movie for like the camera movements, like for being an early movie. There's a lot of movement with the camera, like when you first
Yes.
go into Rick's establishment, you see the patrons going in, and then the camera goes through the doors itself too. So like you're almost entering with
Mhm.
other patrons, like, oh, I'm coming in the Rick's bar. I'm here, you know. And there's a lot of shadow work, like when Rick is talking to the captain, and Captain Lewis, and he goes into like where his safe is, and like basically his office space, and then there's a silhouette of Rick, just smoking, like grabbing the residual money, and it's just like, it's such a little touch. So like he goes somewhere with the shadow and back out. I love those like little noir touches that this film has, and like the look of it. It's like I don't know, everything really pops. Like what you need to see is what
Yeah.
you really need to see. And
Because
like every
there's a scene. Oh, go ahead, Josh. I
I
mean,
was just gonna say every side character is not wasted at all. Like every character, even if they're minor, are super necessary to the story. Like if you take one character out, like a big piece is missing. Like even if they're like a super small character. Like there's
mm-hmm.
there's no fat. Really no fat. Like everything to the
There's
bone.
no bullshit at all.
Like
No.
everything is just there where it needs to be. Because when you were
Mhm.
talking about the lighting work, I don't know if you guys might have paid it any attention, but it was the last time when Elsa and Rick were talking upstairs. Like if you looked in at her eyes when she was like moving around, essentially just like begging Rick, like talking about everything, you could see the actress's eyes were like actually tearing up because the tears were right here at the bottom, getting like ready to start forming. And I had to rewind it because I thought something was wrong with my TV. But when I watched it again, I was like, oh, she's like really putting all her emotion in it. You can see it in not just her face, you can see it in her eyes, you hear it in her voice. Like every movement in this movie is like a perfectly made symphony. There's nothing that's overdone. There's nothing that you were like, I kind of wish that this person or
Yeah.
like this thing was used a little more. Like everything is right where it needs to be and it falls in place with no dead zones. Even though we've been saying there's a lot of gears and pieces to this, everything just flows and meshes together. I
It
wouldn't
really
change a
does.
singular thing
No.
outside of like getting some more lore on certain characters, but I honestly don't even need that.
You don't need it, but like
Mhm.
it's just like it
It just
leaves you wanting
happens.
more,
Yeah,
Yeah. But
which
like
is what the best thing a movie could give you. That's what you want. You want a movie. You
like
want the audience to want more.
going with Jerry saying like this actress like crying, like about to cry, like getting into this character. It just felt like all these like actors and actresses all believed they were them. Because they
Yeah.
didn't feel like you didn't feel like they're all like someone's off. No, they all felt like they're like those characters are supposed to be, and didn't feel like they're just generically just doing something just to get it by, get a
And this
gig.
is
It's like they're actually just
still
going for it.
and this is still early like picture uh, early times of motion picture. So this is like still kind of where people were overacting.
Hmm.
There's
mhm.
no overacting in this movie. Like
No, it just felt
feels very real.
feels like it's a good like constant like everyone just characters felt good enough to pass on by like if you met this person like if you went to this place you would expect to find these people or like this bar like there if you went to this play like location but like it's just it was a good choice of like casting too it's like good
Yeah, like
uh
like Josh said, every single person is used like fully. Even the bartender who we see in the beginning, who has the crush on the woman that was an
Oh yeah, the
ex-lover of
Russians.
Rick's,
mhm,
he was like, okay, he's like his name came up at several points because obviously he was one of the closers Rick trusted to tie up everything in the saloon because he was like, what was his name, like Sache or something like that or whatever. He was like,
Yeah, it
Sache
was,
usually turns off all the lights and everything. And Rick yelled down to to his bookkeeper, like, well, tonight he forgot to do it. And I'm just like, oh, this is, And like, even when you see Rick sitting down to have a drink with Elsa at a different point, he's once again right there. And he's telling, his boss, like, congratulations, I'm proud of you. He's making a genuine, like, connection with the boss, even outside of it being work and obviously, illegal work.
Yeah, like Jerry said, like with the bartender, like all these side characters all get used. It's not like they're not just sitting in the background. Like we getting into, like Jerry saying, like we're getting interaction with the bartender that should have been just like one time thing, but no, they just kept going with everybody. Uh,
Yeah, even like the Bulgarian couple, like
mm,
you see them in the beginning of the movie. They look at the plane. They're like, "Oh, that could be us tomorrow." And then that's what sets Rick. That couple is what sets Rick into motion to show the audience that he actually has a heart and actually cares about other people, even though his actions speak louder than his words. Because his words are saying, "I don't look out for anyone. I don't care about anything," but his actions say, I care a lot about people and what their well-being is because he sends them off and, like, he helps the Bulgarian couple with the winnings at the table. He's like, "Okay, put all your chips on this and cash out now and get the fuck out of here,"
mhm.
And then that's when
Yeah.
the bartender is like, "Oh, Rick, you beautiful man." You're beautiful. He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing to do with nothing." And, it just really shows, like, yeah, his actions were louder than his words. They spoke louder than his words because his words were just like, "Oh, it's like his facade the
No,
whole time."
And I think, oh, go ahead. Who's going to
no,
talk?
no, go for it. I'm trying to think
Oh,
still.
I was just gonna just piggyback off what Josh said. Like when I saw that moment there, that's when I was like, that's when I knew in my mind, yeah, even though he has this facade and persona, he still can't get rid of his humanity. For I'm quite sure he's done other good things along the way. Like people kept saying, you always fight with the underdog. Is there a particular reason for that? Because usually everybody, well, most people root for the big guy and the little, and sometimes people root for the underdog because they want to see the underdog win. And the whole time when Rick's saying like, okay, but keep going, he tells him to stop, and he tells the wife like, don't thank me. Your husband just got lucky, because even though he knows who he is at the end of the day, he doesn't want to appear human, I guess, for lack of better term, to everyone else. Because what's Rick? He's the cool bar owner. He smokes and drinks by himself. He's always watching from above. He only intermingles when he absolutely has to. And he's absolutely business. He's all business and no pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the allure of Rick to a lot of people. But the movie just keeps pulling, and not even a huge layer. They just delicately, pull each layer of his, persona, his who he is, and all of his defining features and qualities as a person. They just show it to you right as the plot of the story thickens, and it's just
Mm.
who Rick is who he is, and there's no changing that, no matter where he is.
Yeah, as much as we
Yeah.
keep talking about Rick here with like how much of like a how his dimensions are, it's kind of like we even see more of like his like he likes like how much he likes everybody at his bar and how much he cares for everybody. Because when they do the shutdown, they shut down the bar and everything, and kicks when they had to kick everybody out, and we got like everyone at the bar that works at the bar is like, what's gonna happen? He's like, everyone has to go home. You can't stay here, but don't worry, you are going to get paid your normal wages. I'm not gonna stop you from getting your money. This is some other bullshit that's happening. I don't know what's happening at the moment. I don't know how long we're gonna be shut down for, but I'm gonna make it happen. You guys are gonna get money. And then you get to the part where it cuts to another scene where he's sitting with, I think, his bookie. I think it's like the older
Yeah.
gentleman, and he's discussing. He's like, "How long can we last, like
Oh
in
yeah,
the shutdown?" And
Yeah, and
like the
he's
guy's
like
like,
2 weeks, maybe
"Yeah,
3. He
yeah,
and he
2 or
told him, he
3
said,
weeks."
make it 3 weeks and keep everybody's salary the same.
Yeah, he's just like,
that's
"That's it."
that's right after Laszlo's musical warfare German singing the German anthem, and then Laszlo gets the whole bar to sing the French national anthem, like to combat the German anthem, and
That sits out the
"Viva
red
la
flag.
France."
Hmm.
Uh,
He sits out the
it's
flag.
actually a really powerful moment. Like it sounds like it's like if you explain that, it sounds like it could be cheesy, but like how they set it
How
up,
they executed
yeah, how
it
they
was it
execute
was fantastic.
yeah, 100%. And like you could see the tears coming from uh the French one of the French ladies that was one of the patrons at the bar there. And she was like before she was going against her own nationality and was going for the German. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be with a German now." And it shows her she had a story, character arc, and she was like, "You know what? I'm fighting Viva la France." You know, she's with France.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has their like little character arc, like even the minor characters. And she was like only what in like 2 scenes, like barely anything.
I think that was
Hmm.
she might have been in like maybe eight or so frames of the second scene. It wasn't
Right, like not a lot, but like there's a lot going on with their character in such
Like we
a
were
short
saying
amount.
before, they use everybody and they don't stop using everybody.
And like that's what I said. There's so many moving parts that like I feel like the more you watch it, the more you get out of this movie. There's
Yeah,
Hmm.
like this is
so
a
much
movie you
going
could watch 5 times and you'll still find something new at each point.
on.
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
God.
100%. What are you
I'm
gonna
s-
say, man?
nah. I'm just thinking of this movie. Just so much of it.
Like there's just so much
I,
to this movie.
my
Like,
little
yeah, you could say so much. There's so much of this movie, and it's like such a short amount of time. And then like you take like a movie from now that has like a 2.5 hour runtime, and significantly less things happen in it, you know. So it's just like kind of wild, like how they really utilize their time and like really made their points heard. Every
Yeah.
frame is utilized in the best way.
I,
And the one nitpick you could say, which I was gonna say, is like when they meet in France, you're like, oh, they only knew each other for like such a short amount of period of time. Oh, they're gonna get married, blah blah blah. But then they state it when they meet up again. They're like, oh, we just had Paris, and it was just like this fruitful time, and like it was in the midst of war, you know, and blah 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 blah. And it's like they kind of address it. So like they're like, I was gonna say like if there was gonna be a nitpick, that would have been it. But then they address it, and then it's like, so you have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
they
So
just
it's
nipped
like,
in the
oh
butt for you, huh?
yeah, no, they really do, 100%. And like the whole ending is so iconic. You know, what this is gonna be a start of a beautiful friendship.
Hmm.
And I gotta say, what's the actor's name who plays? Well, the actor who plays the major, like the major, uh,
Talking
Nazi
about the Nazi. Okay.
Major Streiser, something like that.
Strasser, yeah, yeah, yeah. So the actor's name is Conrad uh, Vedet. Vedet. He actually is a German actor, and he started out with the silent film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is like all the basically the start of German expressionism. And he actually escaped Nazi Germany like in the 30s and like moved over to I think he became um settled in Europe. So like he basically escaped Nazi Germany, settled in Europe. He also has a bunch of other roles. Like he has what's that movie? There's a movie that The Man Who Laughs. So there's a movie called The Man Who Laughs, which basically
Okay.
the inspiration for the Joker. That's the movie that inspired the Joker. So there is a little connection to Batman. It is a very, very
Cool.
small one. Just with the actor played that one character that inspired the Joker. So I thought that was a neat little thing, especially like how he actually escaped Nazi Germany and being a well-known actor and everything in Germany, a German actor being able to escape all that crazy stuff. And like I think he said in one of his interviews that character like that he played in this movie, he's seen it so many times that like he's seen that person in real life so many times that it was very easy for him to play, like because he knew it firsthand, like what the Germans were capable of.
God.
I never would have guessed that. That's so crazy.
I thought they just got another actor off the lot and said, "All right, you want to be this Nazi?"
And I think at the time they thought this movie wasn't going to be anything, and then it became like one of the biggest movies of all time. Like I think,
yeah, like it's
really, like flying by the seat of their pants when they're making it. Basically,
it's God's name. If you ask anybody, someone out of nowhere will bring a Casablanca. It's not like it's not going to be like everyone's like, "Have you seen this one?" It comes up, but
yeah,
it's you never have somebody that doesn't like. You have people that don't know it. Like I never seen it, but I know the name of it and all that shit.
Right.
Like you always,
and even if you don't know the name of it, you know something from the movie.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I feel like this is a must for like everyone. I think almost every person.
Yeah, like even if you're not a movie goer, you need to watch this.
Yeah, exactly. If you just watch a movie, you should watch this. You know, and like you could claim this to be America propaganda because it's embodying like the American spirit. You know, like we're gonna win this war because this is like made at a time they didn't know what the outcome of the war was gonna be. Like it's kind of funny watching this, and like we know, like obviously Allies won, but like they didn't know. They didn't know it was gonna win. They had no idea. You know, so it's like kind of like it's nice that it had that upbringing, like that hopefulness. Like, oh, we're gonna win this war. It's gonna be okay. They had no idea. Honestly, had no idea.
No.
And the Germans had better technology and better almost everything.
And they had a lot of like better odds,
They had
at least
a bunch
that
of
we
big ups.
Shoot. I got like one little scene that kind of made me like laugh a little too much because like I said, I enjoy the captain, like the French captain, a lot in this movie. As like, and like, there's a part when the Nazi general literally comes in and says, "I need you to shut this place down." And he's like, and he just looks at him like, "What? Like, how do I do that? Like, how do I?" He's like, "Just come up with something. I don't care." And he walks away. And he's just like,
right after
"I'm shutting you down for gambling." Yeah, and like right after that, and then after he says, "I'm shutting down for gambling," and then another guy runs up, and is like, "Here, sir, here's your winnings. Thank you." And he puts it in
He made sure he still got paid first.
I'm like, it's a contradiction. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts too.
Yeah, that was funny.
And
I have one more thing I want to say, but I'm gonna save it for final thoughts and review.
Okay. Yeah, I think I basically said everything you say. Matt, what are your final thoughts?
Oh, I'm going to first. All right. To me, like I basically kind of said like everything that I needed to say. Like all the actors did as well, like good job. Scenes and everything, like the sets looked amazing for that time and like period. Like I don't even know like if that was like I assume that'd be an actual like real like establishment they actually had done. But at that time they were building fucking that's what I was gonna say. At that time they were just building their own fucking sets and just like that looked really realistic, and like they did a great job. It fools me well. I want to go over there and just to see if they can find that bar. Like shit, fuck it.
I'm surprised they haven't made that bar in Casablanca. You know, like someone just capitalized We gotta make this place.
I know, like they should,
I
but
wanna
like it just like all the characters, they all work together. There's never been there's not really there's not really a character that butts head for no reason. There's always a reason why each character is doing what they're doing. There's like they have like yeah, I can't complain. I can't not like the only thing I just say I can complain like the only thing I can complain about is like there's so much going on, but that's not really like it's just me acknowledging like that's just like this and that's just me just saying like I can't comprehend I'm trying my best here, but that's just me. That's just not the movie. The movie's good. It's just me in general trying to comprehend it. It's just like everything else is going through all like its gears. It's just working. Like you like I don't know what the fucking really this is a good fucking movie and go fucking see it.
so what parts are you confused about?
It's just just not like it's just more like the just going back and forth through like going from Paris back to the location, then back, then going from Laszlo's little side story back to there. Just going like just jumping around a bit. That was really it for me. I'm not, but like it thing is like after the rewatch, I was better. But me just watching the first time, that's just me mentally complaining because I'm just me. I'm not gonna just be like, that's for everyone. Everyone should have this. No, just me. That's just my thing. It's just but whatever. It's just but like this movie is just a flat out the music they used for it was great. I can't complain for that time era. They had the nice settled piano playing and like you guys saying like the French song they sang, and I don't like I can't like it like I don't have like we talked like I said we talked about most of the shit I want like I bring up, but like I don't have that many complaints. I don't have any complaints really. So I'm just gonna go to rate it. I'm just gonna give it it's a good 10 to me. It's a good 10. It's a good 10. Like, you can't not lie. Like for that time period, what they had and what they're going through, it worked out to become a good fucking movie. It's just like people nowadays have fucking whatever money and time on their hands and they completely make shit. So for this time period and what resources they fucking had, they made a fucking great movie.
I agree with a lot of that. That
You
there is a
comprehended
lot of
anything from
positives,
that? Woo!
but there's a lot of positives to this movie. It definitely reminded me just as far as the feel. I guess I'm finna go ahead and get in my final thoughts and review. It reminded me a lot of the Wizard of Oz. It's not necessarily a feel good movie, but it was more of like a movie people needed to just kind of give them a break from just everything that was happening. They needed that, sure, there were some moments for me where I'm like, this is kind of cheesy. I don't care for it. But, some people like that cheesy stuff. Like where, Rick and Elise, not Elise, Elsa, made up and were like, okay, this time, Elsa, you're going to come, Elsa's like, this time around, Rick, I'm going to come with you. And, this is going to be our turn together. There's different little romance things like that. Just had I don't know if that was thunder or something happened at the power line next to me. But if I get
I heard it.
but it this movie just has so much like positivity and just wholesomeness all around, even through the dark point that they were setting. Like this was my favorite scene, and it wasn't like important, but this was just what I clung to is when Rick was finally selling the bar to the gentleman working in the black market, and he was like, Sam still gets 25%. And the guy was talking to him was saying, Sam's what did he say? He said Sam's supposed to only get 10%, but even I know he's worth the 25. And he was like, Rick fought for the same wages for all of his employees. That even if I'm gone, this is still my bar, and if something happens, my name is still gonna get you paid, no matter who's running this joint. And even the French captain, he was like, Rick, I can't believe you're finally gonna leave, my friend. And I think in his heart, he knew Rick wasn't gonna leave, but he was just putting on the show. And he was like, I'm going to miss you in Casablanca. He's like, I'm going to miss Casablanca too. And then like at the end, when they were talking about the 10,000, was it francs? I can't remember what the currency was called, but he was like, you still owe me 10,000. And he's like, and I owe you 10,000. So the 10,000 that we would both have won, let's just use it to fund our escape from Casablanca. And excuse me. There's a lot of small tidbits that like with the the French woman who was with the German guy, like, all right, I was with you, but really I wasn't with you, and I'm gonna go back to Vive la France. There's the Germans who are like, do you really think Germany is gonna do something bad? We're the good guys here. Everybody else is bad. You should just, come back to occupied France. And even with the music fight, as I would personally call it, you see, like, even in every actor's, face and voice, when Rick gives the nod to the band to play the French national anthem, everyone is putting their entire feeling into it. They're trying to uplift everyone in the room and of course in the audience. And I don't think that was more apparent than in the female singer who had the acoustic guitar, because she was the one that was singing the loudest above everyone else. And there's just, God, I could go on forever talking about all the things I loved about it, but this movie's gonna get another 10 out of me. There's so much that I loved about this movie, from the lighting to the camera work, even to some of the acting that I wasn't expecting to get in this movie. All of this is so well put together. For something under 2 hours, I don't think anything could be done to improve this movie.
No, I don't think so either. And I think the cheesy stuff where they're like and what's her name? Elise? What is it?
It's spelled like I think it's Ilsa. I really don't know how you say it.
Yeah, well, even that cheesy stuff where they're saying they were going to run away together, like that's definitely necessary, because that gives the dynamic at the end of the movie where she thinks she's going to run away with Rick, and he's like, no, you're going on the plane with Laszlo. And he has that whole conversation like, you're not going to regret it today, maybe not even tomorrow, but someday soon you should get on that plane. And like it's super necessary. Like without that scene, that whole dynamic does not play nearly as well. Like it's super necessary. And I gotta say, the actress name, what is her name?
It's Ingrid something.
Ingrid Bergman. Like her her beauty is just like timeless. Like she would be beautiful at any time period. So like I totally understand why Rick feels the way he does.
Oh yeah, she was a fox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she is a foxy lady. And I guess she was born in Sweden. Like she was born in Sweden. She's a Swedish actress, and then she had to learn English. And I guess she's tied with Meryl Streep for the most amount of Oscars for a female actor.
Okay.
Wow. Okay,
We'll
that's
see.
cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to state that. I definitely give this movie a 10 out of 10. I think I said everything I needed to say. Matt, Jerry, I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship.
Good one. Good one.
I thought Matt was going to be the one to sneak it in.
If anyway, he beat me to it, so whatever, fuck it. But oh god.
So for next episode, we have a little bit of a scheduling issue, so that's why
Because of
normally it'd be
me.
Jerry's picks, but since something's coming up, we're gonna save Jerry's picks for a later episode. That's okay with you, Jerry.
That's fine because I know this guy's gonna love my picks. I've been teasing him for 2 weeks now.
Who, Josh or me? Josh or me?
You.
Me? You're pointing the wrong way. On my screen, you're pointing the wrong way at Josh.
I was like,
on my screen, I'm pointing at Josh.
I'm like, oh, Josh, how long has he?
I'm excited.
like, oh god,
we'll bring back the balance of the force, and everything will be good after these next couple episodes. We'll be finding Danny. So for next episode, we are going to be talking about, for short, Batman the animated series again. I got Batman in my basement, and the Burbs. I think 1989.
fuck you.
Oh, the
Fuck
bird.
you.
Not the Birds. The Burbs. BURBS.
I guessed the movie. Guess the movie, and Josh is like, "No, that's not the movie." In this case, you're throwing me down the loop, and I'm like, "I knew it's the movie. I know."
I texted. I've been very what's the word? I guess
I'm
like
really mad at you.
I've been very under the radar on what the picks were for a reason, which we'll get into for the future. So
Batman
I don't know if
in
you
My
see
basement and the Birds. I've never seen the Birds.
The
the
Burbs is
Burbs
fucking
starring Tom
crazy.
Hanks, Corey Feldman.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, we got there's a lot of good actors in this movie. Let's read it off so we get the whole feel.
I'm so
Okay.
mad at you.
So we got Carrie Fisher, Bruce Dern, Tom Hanks, Corey Feldman, Luke Dukeman. He's a really good character actor. We got Corey Danziger. We got a lot going on. So just want to state that. If you guys don't want to be spoiled for the Burbs and I have Batman in my basement, be sure to watch that before the next episode. All right, 3, 2, 1. This is Josh sending you off, up and away until next Batyards Finest episode.
This is Jerry guiding you all with Green Lantern's light.
And this is Superman's pal Matt, becoming super pals one episode at a time.
Why are you so upset?
Because I am mad at this man. The man.
I told you what the movie was. You just didn't pick up the pieces.
I guessed it, and you threw it away. Like what the fuck?
No, I didn't. I said
Yeah.
it to you.